Ooh. It's the microphone check. 1 2 1 2. What they say? 1 2 break up, 3 4 shake up, or is it backwards? 1 2 shake up, 3 4 break up. I ain't even gonna tell y'all what that's from. If you don't know, you don't know. But if you know what it is. It feels so good to be back, and I know, I know. They thought they thought I wasn't going to come back with yet another episode of one of the greatest shows on earth, if not the greatest show on earth. I am the king of hosts. So, the show has to fall in line as well with that standard. Listen to me. This is the tried and true podcast where I like to keep it a what? Say it with me on three. 1 2 3. Buck in all pennies with, you know what I'm saying. Y'all and myself got to do that with myself. And sometimes my guests, we're blessed by my own presence this time yet again. Um, Hopefully y'all been enjoying the podcast. A lot of people have been telling me they enjoy the podcast. I get so many messages and DMs from my supporters. But again, I need y'all to subscribe. Obviously, I need y'all to share and I need y'all to watch and view and I need y'all to like it. But I really need y'all to subscribe because there's a statistic that shows the amount of people that watch and listen versus the amount of people that subscribe is just so far off from each other. So I get a whole bunch of people who listen and my downloads are actually doing really great. Shout out to the views that are going up, up, up. I got a slow growth pattern going on, but it is really catching fire. I'm so grateful. But I need y'all to subscribe. Subscribers are going up. So thank you for everybody who has been subscribing. But why would you want to miss a beat? I don't understand. If you're going to go to my page every week anyway to check if I got some new content, what is the point of you not just subscribing so that when I do post, you get a notification? When I don't post, you don't get a notification. So you won't be bothered. But if you want to see and hear everything I do anyway, then what is the point of not just getting the little boop, boop? Coach Sally, Tried and True Podcast just posted something. And then I'm out of your way. And then you can come to me and I can give you what you need. Subscribe. Also, after you subscribe, like and share, man. Hit the share button. You get so much from this, but you won't share it with the homies? That's crazy. It ain't no fun if the homies can't get it done. Nah, but please like, share, and literally most important of all, I need y'all to subscribe. And if you know people who listen to me and watch me, ask them, did you sub? I need you to sub. Sub my tube. Sub my tube. Listen, the update I have this time is that I have been listening to and watching so much podcast content lately. It's unreal. And some people who I'm actually going to name, shout out to these other Black creators that I watch and listen for inspiration, motivation, and instructions. I'm going to name them. I'm a name drop, but listen, some people have been saying some things that have inspired me to talk about some things here on my own podcast. Now, what I don't do is copy and paste content, but what I do is share my perspective on things that are happening in the world or things that people are talking about because I have a very unique perspective, as do we all. And I feel a duty to share that perspective. Spiritual duty. I need to get it out there. I didn't think these things just for me to have these things going on in my brain. I got to talk about them, man. I got to talk about it. And if I'm going to talk about them, I might as well get them on record. Can you dig me? I get them on record and I share them with y'all. So we're going to discuss something that the homies over at the Social Proof Podcast were talking about. I call them the homies, even though they don't know me, because if they did know me, we would be homies. And I rhyme. Check this. Shout out to David Shands and shout out to Donnie Wiggins. Fire. Before I do that, y'all see the chain if you watching. Now, a couple of podcasts have gone by. I ain't tell y'all who made this. It's my boy Jalal. It's my boy Jalal. He has the jewelry company. Um, while the name escapes me, I'm going to make sure I put the links and all that in there so I can talk about the company. But on Instagram, it's JWLS Co. JWLSCO. Obviously, put the @ but if you search that, his jewelry shop comes up. You can see his work on Instagram. I trust this man. It's quality. I've known him for quite some time. Okay. Super trustworthy. He either will be or has already been on an episode here. So y'all have heard the man speak. A fellow content creator and just a man of excellence who has looked out for me. This piece is it means a lot. Long live. You already know my hashtag long live. I've only branded it because we've all lost somebody and we all want to leave some sort of a legacy and impression on the world as these other people who we have lost left on us. We all want to be able to leave that impact. So it's long live, but there have been so many that I didn't leave a name. Long live everybody from me, obviously, but on behalf of everybody. So it's long live, man. Look out for the merch coming soon. And I don't even want to call it merch, but it's just clothing. I believe that the way that we use fashion should be a way to express what's on the inside of us, on the outside of us. So I like things like this. I like to wear them because it expresses the way I truly and genuinely feel on the outside of me, and it's relief. It's very relieving for me to be able to do that. It's the same concept, different idea as if you put on one of those RIP shirts from back in the day. You put people on a T-shirt, but it's not just a thing to do to put a person who passed or something on a shirt or like free this person because they're in jail. No, no, no. I'm expressing the way I feel. It's a relief. So I'm branding Long Live as a way to help create relief for everybody, not just myself, my listeners and my viewers. Shout out to him. You got the his at. All right, y'all already know about this. Golden Brown, y'all know the vibe. Inner circle. I've been talking on the podcast about the inner circle, innermost circle, outer circle, inner circle. Come on now. Golden Brown, my homie Jalen made this. Shout out to Golden Brown, GLDNBRWN. Go to the Instagram page, Cop Gear. Obviously, this is sold out. All of that. I think everything on the website, honestly, I think actually sold out. I'm going to keep it above with y'all. But at the drops, you can get the stuff. Sub to him. He'll shoot you a notification when you got it. Y'all see the shirt? Y'all see the shirt? It says pay. But yeah, this is Paperboy brand. Shout out to Marelli. Paperboy. Y'all know the deal, man. 100 Rack 6 created a clothing brand. So many different pieces that he has in stores. This is a Denver-based brand, but he's national and probably worldwide at this point. I'll be honest. He's so tapped in, he might be worldwide at this point, but he's at least a national brand. You can get this gear wherever you're at. I actually took a flight to Denver and hit the shop in the Aurora Mall myself at Notorious. I shopped with him in the store so I could talk to the people at the store, let them know who this person is to the city and to me, and I spent some bread with him. So yet again, me supporting the people that I actually rock with who create excellence, as do I. Shirt fire, hat fire, chain obviously fire. And I'm fire. So, I got a rock fire. You know the deal. So if you're not watching this, head over to the YouTube and peep the outfit. It's fire. I'm not showing y'all the pants because they don't matter. Okay. They don't. What do they say about Zoom? They say business up top, party at the bottom. Doesn't matter what's down there. Don't worry about it. So listen, let's get into actual podcast. Let's get into a podcast. We got a podcast. It's 7-8 minutes in, and I haven't even started. But let me tell y'all. Okay, so I was listening to the Social Proof podcast. Davey Shan's, Donnie Wiggins, man, they chopping it up. And on this particular podcast, they were talking about band-aids versus permanent fixes. And something was mentioned there, and there was an analogy used about putting a band-aid approach to things, not actually solving the problem that you're having by putting a band-aid instead of fixing it permanently when the problem is your approach. So y'all know what I do. I like to start off on the surface and peel back layers. It can get deep, but I'm gonna walk you through it one step at a time so that you'll be able to follow me. But I need you to follow me so I can drive this thing home. Stop refilling the tire and just change the actual tire. They said that. It's not a quote from me. It was on the podcast. I will not take credit. Stop refilling the tire with the hole in it and just change the whole tire. So now I'm going to get into the perspective that I really wanted to talk about, which is knowing when to quit something. And I say it that way on purpose. Knowing when to quit something. Knowing when to quit something. When you need to quit something. Accepting when your approach was wrong. The whole approach and changing it. Obviously, this is a major key because you can waste so much time toiling over something, trying to make it something that will work when it actually won't work. And you spend so much time doing that you miss the opportunity to do the thing that actually will work. Okay. Listen, when you get stuck in your own way, these are people who are the most stubborn and hard headed. You get this way because not only do some people actually have to look out for themselves and figure it out on their own, so they trust their own mind. You don't have a reason to trust minds that didn't put themselves to work on your behalf, right? If a person is not helping you think through problems throughout maybe a certain period in your life, then when you get through the hard part and you start getting things done, you don't have a reason to trust other people's input. You only have a reason because you have proof, I would say social proof, of your own methods working for you. But we can't just take that effort that you put in and equate that effort to actual productivity. At some point, your approach might actually be wrong. The thing that worked for you before or seemed to work for you might not work anymore. So, this is when we got to face that dirty, nasty word that y'all hate, change. This is when it's time to make the change, make the adjustment. People's unwillingness to change be the reason they miss their train. Okay. They miss their train to success because they're not willing to change up their approach. They stick to their guns. They'll change everything surrounding the approach. They'll get more resources. They'll get rid of resources. They'll cycle in people, cycle out people, but they won't actually change their own approach. And because you stick too much time doing that, you can spend so much time on this one approach that you miss your opportunity to change it up, and then you miss your opportunity to actually get on. Change. You got to become less adverse to change, which means you have to develop an affinity for fresh starts. A lot of people struggle with this, something I talk about often. People look at a fresh start and they think they got to start from scratch. They got to start all over from scratch. They're going to lose time. All that sacrifice was made for nothing. What was it for anyway? I went through this, I went through that. I at least need to get something out of it, blah, 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 blah. Listen to me. Starting fresh and starting from scratch are not the same. You get to start fresh, not from zero. You have all the wisdom, resources you've acquired, relationships that you've been able to build over time. You have all these things that you can leverage now. So when you start fresh with a new approach, you're better off than you were before when you actually started from scratch because you got way more material to build with now. You done acquired all these different things. You figured out what the lay of the land is. You figured out whatever ways you were trying before. You found out how not to do it. Now you also have enough knowledge and wisdom to teach somebody else what not to do. And if you really, let me tell you something. When you real player and you keeping it real P, not only do you know what not to do, you fill in all those little blanks and you use those little blanks of like, okay, but this actually worked. This actually worked. This actually worked. And while I didn't get to where I'm going yet, I was able to acquire these, and these resources. So not only did I create a what not to do, now I got in there, take out a bunch of stuff that creates a what to do. So now I can coach you not only on what not to do, but also on what to do. So I got all these different things, and I'm able to lead people along the way because I might not be a 10, but if I'm a 3, I can lead a 2, right? So I can lead other people along the way. I switched up my approach. Now I can teach other people how to develop an affinity for change and become less adverse for change and how to accept fresh starts and boom, 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 boom. And I can do all these different things. I'm way better off, which helps me build relationships. If I can help you do you better than you're currently doing you, not try to get you to do me, not try to get me to do what you're doing, but if I can help you do you, then the level of relationship, because that's all we ever wanted in the first place, which is why we trust our own mind and not others. We might not have had those folks to help us do us at a higher level than we were already doing us. So that's why we're so stubborn now. But just imagine being that for somebody else because you figured out what not to do and in turn learned what to do. Unreal. You follow me? Are you following me? Okay. Don't become impatient and jump from the platform that would have taken you all the way up. You got to find a good balance. Listen to me. You have to understand and identify what doesn't work and what does work. Some people don't got no discipline and are way too impatient. So, yes, they have an affinity for fresh starts and they're okay with change, but these fools change it up way too much. Let me tell y'all something. A successful kingdom, my mentor taught me this, a successful kingdom is one that continues to do what works. Okay. So if something is working, don't get so jittery and so impatient that you stop doing it. You can add things that work along with what's working to double down on productivity, or you can keep the things that work, eliminate the things that aren't working to double down on efficiency, or you can do both and find a healthy middle ground. And that is how you become the most proficient that you can be. Okay. You eliminate what's not working to make sure you're being efficient. And you add in more things that do work to make sure that you're being productive. And then what do you get? Proficiency. Ta-da! Now you're moving, performing at a high level. You are what's called now a peak performer. And you do that over a long period of time. Now, whether you have someone who is consistent, and if you just take it one step at a time, eventually you'll be up the stairs. Now you done went from a 3 to a 7. So now instead of being a 3 leading twos and ones, you a 7 leading 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I mean, what are we really talking? What are we talking? What you gonna do? The alternative? Okay, or you can just run in place. Now, I'd rather walk forward than run in place. I don't know about y'all, but I'd rather walk forward than be running in place. Just me. Is that just me? Just me. Okay. Listen, in order for you to find this healthy middle ground and identify what doesn't work and what does work to add and subtract things, tap in with your mentor. Tap in with people who have had success in the specific areas that you are trying to experience success in. Like I said when I started this, I've been consuming a lot of podcast content, whether I be watching or listening or both. Why? I am keeping my eye on people who have already successfully done what I'm trying to do. I'm watching the shooting star. I'm watching it because it is showing me where to go. Some of these folks don't even know I exist. Shout out to Steve Harvey. He don't even know I exist. I've never met him. He ain't never heard of me probably. Shout out, hey Steve Harvey, if you listening or watching or when y'all know Steve Harvey, send him this. But as far as I know, he ain't never heard of me. He don't even know I exist. He doesn't need to in order to lead me. This is what's called a distant mentor. Find out who the distant or up close mentors can be. We have the internet. You don't have an excuse. Some people don't have the internet. Obviously, if you don't have the internet, you're not even hearing my voice or seeing me right now because I'm on the internet. But for those of you who are currently listening and seeing me, you have the internet. So if you don't have a mentor or an example, that's your fault. You're not looking. And if you're watching and listening to me, then here I am. Use me as the living epistle and the example, how to and how not to. If you have questions, hit me up and ask me. That's what you should be doing to develop a healthy middle ground. You need something to weigh your ideas and your vision up against, not unhealthy comparison. I'm talking about eliminating things that don't work. I'm talking about analysis, getting another person's thought process in the mix so you can check in. Maybe they've already been where you're going, or maybe they've already, get this, maybe they've already been where you don't ever want to be. And you need to hear what they have to say about it, how to avoid it, what leads to it. So you can say, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, at that fork, they went left. I was thinking about going left, but I'm not at that fork yet. So I'm going to just make sure when I get to it, I go right. Tap in. What are the signs they look for when they're trying to decide to keep pressing or to switch it up? What are the signs they look for so that you can start looking for them as well? In order for you to do all this, the vision doesn't have to change just because the approach does. So people looking at the reason why they don't want to let go of their approach is because they don't want to change the vision. They don't want to let go of the goal. They don't want to let go of that, the dream. Listen to me. The dream doesn't have to change just because the way that you achieve the dream changes. The details may vary. I always say that. You've heard me say it. The details may vary. The vision is the same. The dream is the same. The details may vary. There are so many ways to create generational wealth. There are so many ways to enjoy a vacation. There are so many ways to find the most delicious spaghetti in the city. Because I love Italian food. I love spaghetti. It's so many different routes I could drive to my favorite restaurants in Little Italy, which is in Baltimore. It's so many different ways I could go. I could take the highway, I could take the regular street, I could cross the bridge, I could not cross the bridge, whatever. It doesn't really matter which way I take. The details may vary. Listen to me. When I tell y'all I'm going, I'm gonna have that spaghetti. Hey, can't nothing keep me from that. Nothing can keep me from materializing my dream. Nothing. Not even me having to change my approach. Nothing. And me knowing that and knowing that there are different ways, there are different routes, different vehicles that I could take. There's all kinds of different things I could do. The details are going to vary. I can get there. So there's been so many people before me who have achieved the things that I want to achieve. There ain't nothing new under the sun. Okay, there's so many things I want to do, and every single thing I want to do, I know for a fact it's possible for two reasons. Number one, anything's possible as far as I'm concerned. Because I've done so many things people told me weren't possible, but I'm pretty sure I have yet to do anything other than live my life the way I'm living it that somebody else hasn't already done. I wanted to do a podcast. I wanted to write a book. I wanted to become a speaker. I wanted to become a coaching consultant. I wanted to make a certain amount of money. I wanted blah 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 blah. There's so many people who have already done those things. Now I might take a route that another person might not have taken yet, but for the most part, I can learn from the other people who have already done these things. My vision didn't have to change. My approach has changed so many times, y'all, and because of that, I'm able to get ahead. Where some people who shall remain unnamed, they didn't get ahead where I did get ahead, or they're not here. There's people who aren't here to, there's people who I know who they went left and I went right, and they went down a path that led them to death, incarceration. I mean, just ridiculousness. They strung out, all kinds of stuff happened. We grew up in the same neighborhood. We played together every day. I know their parents. They know my parents. Listen to me. Listen to me. I was willing to make the adjustment. They were not. My vision is the same. The details may vary. My last point is this, because y'all inspired, y'all motivated, but I need you to get this. And all you're getting, get an understanding. I need y'all to get this. I need y'all to understand this. Changing your approach is not the same as quitting on your goal. It's not. It's not. You ain't got to feel guilty. You ain't got to feel shame. You ain't got to feel too nervous. Of course, we get nerves. We want to do things right. We want to do them in excellence. But listen to me. There's nothing wrong with you. I can't look down on you for changing your approach. You're not a quitter just because you know when to quit something that isn't working. You are innovative. You're a world changer. You're willing to make the adjustment. You're a person of excellence. You're a beast, a refined beast. You're a laser. You're not just a sunbeam that's giving off energy. You're a laser. You know where you're going, and you know you have to get there, which is the reason you're willing to make the adjustment. Make it. Stop playing. Stop toiling. You wasting time. Make the adjustment while you still have the chance to grasp that opportunity. It's on the way. It's in front of you. It might be passing you by, but if you can just catch it, even if it's on the tail end, make the adjustment. Y'all know the deal. It's been another phenomenal, amazing, just wonderful, just beyond anything I could ask or dream type of episode of the Tried and True podcast with your boy, Coach Solly, where I keep it a what? Buck and all pennies. Listen, I will see y'all next time. Love and appreciate y'all. Do not forget to subscribe.